Abraham has a bad reputation for doing crazy things, but her childhood was weird. Her dad is extremely creepy, and you won't believe the shocking truth about this disturbing family. The rumors and suspicions about Farrah's shocking childhood go way back. It was first mentioned on an early episode of the OG Teen Mom when Farrah and her half-sister Ashley confronted their mom, Deborah Danielson, about their past. The shocking moment is still memorable because Farrah was so angry and unwilling to forget about what happened. The strange thing was, whatever happened in her past wasn't really mentioned on TV. And as the years went by, we all witnessed Farrah's insane behavior on reality TV, in scandalous videos, and in the public eye. But now, the possible reason why Farrah acts like that is being brought to the surface. According to sources, including Farrah, someone should have protected her. The someone is Farrah's father, Michael. Michael has always been in the public eye. He might think he was trying to protect Farrah, but when Michael was actually in Farrah's life, his idea of protecting her was not only shocking, it was actually illegal. One scary incident from Farrah's past is proof of Michael's strange version of fatherly love. This happened when Farrah was a pregnant 17-year-old teenager. She was in the bedroom of her childhood home, and she was not alone. Derek Underwood was with her. Derek was Farrah's boyfriend and the father of her unborn child. Tragically, Derek would pass away during a car accident 3 months after this incident. But at the time, Farrah and Derek thought they were alone together. Michael was elsewhere in the house, and he found out Derek was in Farrah's room. Even though Farrah was already pregnant, she said later that Michael snapped, knowing she was alone with Derek. Imagine Farrah and Derek's disbelief as her bedroom door burst open, and Michael stormed into the bedroom with a sharp weapon. Allegedly, Michael came at Derek with the dangerous weapon. While he did not physically harm Derek, and he pleaded not guilty to a Class D felony, a trial was still scheduled, and there was only one reason why the charge against Michael eventually got dismissed, because Derek passed away in that tragic car accident. It's crazy to think that Michael snapped about Farrah being alone with the father of her child, especially since many insiders claim that Michael wasn't allowed to be alone with Farrah and her sister when they were kids. As recently as February 2023, Deborah confirmed during a podcast that she never left Farrah and Ashley alone with Michael. Although Deborah did not come right out and say why, Deborah called Michael a known situation, whatever that is. She also offered the strange explanation that she had taken Michael to get mental help when they were still married, and his doctors told Deborah to keep Michael at arm's length away from everything. Farrah rarely, if ever, calls him dad. Most of the time, Farrah calls him Michael, and allegedly, Farrah has disturbing reasons why. During the Teen Mom OG reunion special in 2018, Farrah was being typically Farrah. The reunion special was hosted by famous TV psychiatrist Dr. Drew, and Farrah got into a crazy argument with Dr. Drew during the special. Farrah ended up storming off the stage, but that was not the most dramatic moment. Farrah later returned to the stage, and then she broke down in tears. Farrah began to discuss her childhood. One of the shocking claims that Farrah made was that Deborah and Michael would take a belt to her as a child when she acted out. While that's never been proven for sure, Deborah was once officially charged with allegedly trying to harm Farrah during a vicious physical argument in 2010. But even with the shocking alleged incidents involving Farrah, Deborah, and Michael, perhaps the most shocking moment during the Teen Mom reunion was when Farrah actually called Michael dad. And then Michael appeared on stage with Farrah, and he confessed something unbelievable. Michael admitted he'd abandoned Farrah as a child, but he also claimed during the reunion that they were now doing much better than before. Was that the insane reason why Farrah actually called him dad instead of Michael? Years earlier, Farrah tried to explain why she'd called her father by his first name. Farrah claimed that her half-sister always called him Michael, so she did too. While Farrah's version of her childhood is unproven, there is shocking evidence that Farrah felt abandoned by her family, and it was captured during an episode of Teen Mom in 2015. Farrah lost it during a so-called disastrous dinner with Michael. She got angry at Michael and accused him of not being supportive, and she said that when she needed the family the most, they were not there. Whatever Farrah calls him, Michael does not act like a typical father should. Michael is active on social media, and he's been called out for making inappropriate comments online. Michael got unbelievable publicity last year, with some headlines calling him the wrong kind of proud dad. In February 2022, Michael seemed to believe that he was defending Farrah against a so-called internet troll. The background to the story is the scandalous adult film that Farrah made in 2013. Michael claimed that Farrah had made lemonade out of a lemon situation. He praised Farrah for making the film and bringing in more money than Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton's tapes. Michael is also alleged to go on social media with disturbing and descriptive texts about his personal dating preferences. Screenshots of Michael's alleged inappropriate messages have appeared in age 18+ online forums. If these sickening messages are real, it's too unbelievable to imagine. And it makes me wonder just what Deborah meant when she talked about her ex-husband's mental health problems. While Deborah does not back up Farrah's claims of physical harm as a child, during the February 2023 podcast, Deborah talked about Michael's shocking behavior. She claimed that it started during the making of 16 and Pregnant. According to Deborah, the cameras didn't catch Michael acting up, but she accused Michael of excessively arguing with everyone plan behind the scenes, and Deborah made an even more shocking accusation against Michael. This happened on the night that Farrah gave birth to Sophia. Instead of being at the hospital for his daughter during her labor, Deborah said that Michael was 2 hours away with another woman. Deborah revealed that she'd spent hours crying and trying to get a hold of Michael on the phone, but he supposedly never responded. According to Deborah, this was because Michael was asleep with another woman, and she said that it took Michael a day and a half to make it to the hospital to see his new granddaughter. But Michael was there for a shocking moment in Farrah's life. He got photographed leaving Vivid Entertainment with Farrah and Sophia. This happened when Farrah was negotiating the best deal for her first adult movie. Michael has made it clear that he never actually watched the movie, but just being there seemed to be creepy enough. Shockingly, Farrah gave the press a different opinion. She even called Michael her dad that day. Farrah said, "My dad is just very supportive. My dad is just here helping me out." Farrah's ex-best friend, Tyler Cooksey, and her mom had a lot to say about all this. Tyler appeared with Deborah on the podcast this past February. They said many shocking things. Deborah stated, "I don't even know what all she's been saying. I want to go on the record and say Farrah comes from a very privileged background, and you won't believe what Tyler thinks. He's probably okay saying this since he's no longer friends with Farrah." Tyler suggested that Farrah uses crazy accusations to get attention. Tyler said, in part, "When does Farrah talk about trauma? When does she talk about these horrible things that happened to her? When she is losing her spotlight?" Deborah agreed that Farrah needs to get sympathy. So according to Deborah, Farrah constantly comes up with far-flung and fantastic things to get people to care. But why would Farrah need to get people to care if there wasn't something messed up in her childhood? Farrah and Deborah are currently estranged, and while Michael says he's always supported Farrah, his crazy behavior does not seem healthy either. So Farrah keeps doing all these crazy things, and all we can do is hope for the best, especially for Sophia. Anyway, what do you guys think about all this? Do you believe Farrah's claims that she was harmed as a child? Why would Deborah make sure that Michael was never alone with the kids? Do you think Deborah and Farrah will ever reconcile?